Isolation. Maybe a little loneliness is appreciated in a world full of mob mentality. You want humility? That's a foregone conclusion when everyone has an ego to comb, looking for a new mouthpiece, to swallow their words like a vacuum, puke it out at the detractors like flies, ready to devour the discourse in victory. I've got by, on my own, never needed another one to tell me how it is, how I should be. Loneliness was my weakness, now it's my greatest necessity, in a world run by mob mentality. Isolate the ideology, isolate the audience, isolate the demagoguery, then you have true thinking, free of red tape and back pockets. The real person is revealed, under the cloud of tribalism. How'd you think I got this far on my own? You want humility? You don't seem humble yourself. Crown yourself a valiant knight, on an invisible pedestal fighting vestigial enemies. Virtue for its own sake sharpened, as the cudgel and the executioner, and the jury are in on it as well. Maybe a little isolation is necessary in this world of homogeny. I've got by, on my own, never needed you to tell me what I think, what I say, as it should be. Loneliness has its caveats, but I make its strengths legendary, push back this world of homogeny, isolate my photos, isolate my projects, isolate my person. My privacy is made public, not a single verb uttered in a different tongue. The real me is always here, over that hump of bipartisanship. How'd you think I got this far on my own? You want humility? You desire something you can't have. You demand others to be what you can't. You destroy people absent of your bubble. You decide what is virtuous to cloud your sins. I think a little isolation is a virtue when you want a world of pedantry. I've lived this solitary nature. All my life I made it on my own, even with people around me. I see the beauty of the lonely, from the street lamps to the trees. The essence of my photography is a vessel of what's inherently me. We're just on a rock. In this universe, we're already alone amongst these stars, and rather than reach so far, we ground ourselves to the mud and glue ourselves to our guns, our gods, our skin, our sun. Isolated on our seas, isolated on the border walls, isolated on everything, humility may be found if we aren't spent preaching, proselytizing another's ideology, subdue the swamp of hegemony, and we'll get to these stars on our own. If I've got by this far on my own, perhaps anyone else could. Maybe a little isolation is a treasure rarely seen.